I guess it used to be that Raw was the flagship show of the WWE, and maybe they still consider it, but I would think that the show that has the most viewers would be the A show, the premier show, and that now normally is SmackDown because it's on network television, it's on Fox, and that's a big advantage when it comes to viewership. But last night, Friday night, December 2nd, it was on FS1 because are you sick and fed up with this soccer? Do you want the soccer to be over with quickly? Because Fox has wherever they're playing this World Cup, whatever part of the country they play this in, or part of the world, I should say.
Qatar.
It's on weekdays. It's in the morning. It's whatever. I've been trying to watch my local news every weekday, as I normally do, at 11:30 and noon. And I have to go to the fucking secondary channel because the soccer's all over Fox. Day, night, everywhere. How many of these games they play? Can't they even do a best of 7 like the World Series and AEW? They have to play 5,000 fucking soccer games.
Did you ever hear that famous quote? I forget who said it now, and I just heard it again this week about soccer. Soccer is the sport of the future, and it always will be.
All righty then. Anyway, so Fox didn't air SmackDown because of the World Soccer Cup or whatever, so it was on FS1, and they, much like AEW does, I guess, when Rampage is on at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, or like last week, they were on the night before Thanksgiving. Although, how the hell did AEW's ratings drop from the Wednesday night before Thanksgiving to the following Wednesday that ain't before anything except Thursday? But they still managed to do it. That's odd. But nevertheless, SmackDown on FS1, they threw their hands up and they said, just go. We're not even going to try. Do you want to hear what the matches on SmackDown were? I didn't watch it. I read the recap to determine whether I should and quickly got the answer to that. But would you like to just hear what the matches were?
If it'll keep this short, yes.
Okay. Sheamus wrestled Sami Zayn, and that alone might not have been bad. And the bloodline actually helped Sami win this, so Sami beat Sheamus. So, boy, howdy, you didn't see that coming. But there was no Roman Reigns, there was no Paul Heyman, because it wasn't network TV, and they didn't bring out all the big guns. And to honestly spend 2 hours of my life to watch Sheamus versus Sami, because the rest of the program, Shayna Baszler versus Emma, a non-title match between Kofi Kingston and Gunther. And again, I love Gunther. I'd love to watch Gunther against Kofi fucking Kingston. And the main event, apparently, or the match they put in the main event spot, was Pablo Escobar against Ricochet. That was the show. And if I was Tony Khan right now, I'd be screaming. You fucking asshole wrestlers I've signed. You can't get your shit together and get along with each other and stop trying to get out of my contracts long enough to beat a company in a promotional war that's not even fucking trying anymore. SmackDown, main event, Pablo Escobar and Ricochet. One of 3 all-star matches on a 2-hour program. If I'd have turned that into Vince McMahon 25 years ago, he'd have fired me. So I don't know again, even on FS1, I don't know if they have the ratings yet. It's Friday night. This is Saturday early we're talking. That was Friday, it's Sunday. Did they have the ratings out yet? Does FS1 even get ratings?
They get ratings. I haven't checked the SmackDown ratings. I'll see if there's anything yet. It is the weekend.
Well, yeah, but I'm just thinking, They switched over to FS1, where the last time they did that, they had approximately as many people watching as AEW does for its Wednesday night show, which is a big deal to AEW. That's their big show, and that's a cause for the WWE to just say, fuck it. Is that where we're at now? There's only going to be 6 or 7 or 800,000 people watching. Let's give us Escobar and Ricochet.
Hey, if Roman Reigns and Heyman don't show up because it's on FS1, it's because they know the viewers ain't going to show up, or they don't think they will.
Well, but that's as many people, as I said, as AEW gets for their big show. And it's not even cause enough for WWE to try. I guess that no ratings, because it's the weekend.
That's right.
But I guess what I'm saying is, what is our choice? Is our choice now to spend 3 hours watching Raw or 2 hours watching SmackDown to get 4 kind of half-ass matches and entrances that are 10 or 15 minutes long in order to see Roman Reigns, Paul Heyman, and every once in a while Brock Lesnar pops up? And then, of course, we have our soft spot for Gunther. But otherwise, nobody's going to hurt themselves. Nobody's going to do, injuries happen, but nobody's reckless and careless and unprofessional on the WWE program. So you can't watch to see the car wreck. And you know that these things, the WWE shows, are all put through the production ringer and overproduced, and they can control the audio. So the fans aren't going to chant fuck, because they'll take care of that. And there's no spontaneity, so everything's kind of boring and professional. And over in AEW, every 3 or 4 weeks, we get a great match, Dax versus Danielson or whatever, but most of the time, we get some unprofessional chaos that, for those of us who just want to sit back and go, how far can these people go before they paralyze themselves? Well, that's somewhat attractive to watch, and giggle at people falling off shit accidentally. But otherwise, there's nothing going on over there. Are we supposed to be bored to death by one program, or are we supposed to scoff and make fun of the other program because it's so unprofessional? But at least it ain't boring watching people accidentally almost kill themselves every week.
You really have to wonder. You have to wonder what William Regal's going to actually say to. He has been talking to whoever he talks to. It's not like he stopped talking to people when he left there, but what he's witnessed. When guys go back there, you got to wonder what they're really saying about what's happening behind the scenes there.
But I'll tell you what, that actually, now that you think about it, this may be the best thing that could have happened to Tony Khan. For William Regal to let William Regal out of whatever deal that he had for however long he had it, to go back to the WWE, Regal's going to go in there and tell Triple H, okay, most of these guys are fucking green, don't want to listen, got bad attitudes, don't want to learn, think they know everything. We don't want most of them. We want MJF, we want FTR, we want 1 or 2 other underneath guys that we can retrain before their bad habits are, unbreakable. But now he knows what these people are like, as well as the talents. He knows working with them. He sit back and watched them interact with people. He knows who's got a bad attitude. He knows who's a troublemaker. He knows who thinks they know it all. I've just rattled off 80% of the roster. So will it be good for Tony in that Regal will go back and say, Paul, mate, we don't want most of those fucking guys. It may be a boon to Tony in the long run. Because now, he won't have to worry about being poached as much, because there are guys on that program that if you didn't know people who know them personally, you'd think, oh, they might have a future. It's just they're being held down by this stupid company. No. Now they'll actually know in the WWE who's being held down by their own stupid.
You know, the other problem is, take a guy like Moxley, who was one of the guys that really pitched Regal to Tony. He has, what, a 5-year deal, a 5-year extension? At what point does he become unhappy and say, hey, you released him, let me out of my contract too?
About 4.5 years in, probably.
No, but I mean, this could be an ongoing issue where selectively some guys are just let out of their contract and some guys aren't.
Do you think they would take Moxley back?
Yes.
Obviously, they would. They have control there, so there would be no blood Moxley. There would be no barbed wire Moxley. There would be no garbage match Moxley. Does that take all of Moxley's appeal away? Is there any reason to have Moxley if he's not going to be doing all that horse shit? What else can he do?
Hurt AEW by taking him away. I'm not saying they would take him just because they think he could be the next big thing. I'm saying they take him because, hey, fuck you, AEW, we're WWE.
But what could you do with him if you tried to get him to do it right? Because, I mean, it's like he's not going to listen to anybody in AEW. He's not going to change anything in AEW. This is what he's longed to always wanted to do, Moxley. But if he was taken back in the WWE, they wouldn't let him do most of this because they didn't before, and I certainly think they wouldn't now. How could you make Jon Moxley a legitimate wrestler?
Well, maybe part of it is, hey, we're paying you all this money, stop being a dick, and play along. Your ideas aren't great. Try our way. Again, we're paying you all this money. That'd be part of my argument, if that hasn't been done yet.
I don't know whether to get through. I wonder what the over and under or what the projection would be. That's what it's called, the projection, the more or less. What is the projection, you think, on Jon Moxley? Whether he could actually become a real pro wrestler Pinocchio or whether he's stuck in this outlaw mindset for the rest of his life. Well, I mean, if there was only some place that we could go where we could make entries, sort of like in a daily fantasy situation, on the projections of whether Moxley's going to be a garbage wrestler the rest of his life or not.
You mean sort of like in a fantasy way?
Sort of like in a daily fantasy way, where you make entries on the projections. You pick more or less, yay or nay, things happen. Sort of like our friends at Prize Picks, where you can make the picks there and you can win up to 25 times your money. Even Moxley could end up being a moneymaker if you could win 25 times your money on predicting that he was going to suck. It's something we ought to start thinking about. Because, now our friends at Prize Picks, they cover every other sport. They NFL, NBA, MLB, NHL, PGA, college football, college basketball, soccer, WNBA, esports. I wonder if that includes e-federations. NASCAR, tennis, MMA, boxing, Euro basketball, cricket, disc golf. Cockfighting, is that on the list here?
That isn't on the list. You keep asking this every week, and every week I tell you it's not on the list, and every week you keep forgetting that we talked about, well, not forgetting, choosing to bring it up again.
Well, because I've been training my cock in case they make it legal. But nevertheless, you can go and you can make entries and make picks and projections on any of those sports with our friends at Prize Picks over at prizepicks.com. All you got to do is download the Prize Picks app or go to prizepicks.com to sign up. And first-time users can get a 100% instant deposit match up to $100 with the promo code JCE, because if you put in $100, they'll give you another $100. If you put in $50, they'll give you $50, and it goes like that. But only if you enter the promo code JCE at your sign-up for the instant deposit match. But again, you think somebody's going to do something, you're convinced of it, or you think they're not? Well, you go to Prize Picks, you make the entry, you place the wager, and you walk away with your money as long as you're right. PrizePicks.com, or download the Prize Picks app. Promo code JCE.